Welcome. Welcome to the webinar. I am Karen Janelle Davis. More about me later. And I'm just so delighted that you've come to join us today from across the world. It is such a beautiful time to connect with like-minded souls at this time when there's so much happening on our planet and so much happening for individuals in a really beautiful space that can feel quite challenging at times, and that's okay. So we're just waiting for people to connect with us because sometimes it takes people a little bit of time to work everything out, and so people are joining us from around the world. So welcome, 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 welcome to you. It is such a pleasure to be here. It is such a pleasure to be here. So I'm going to share screen so that I can keep myself a little bit more on track than I would be if I didn't have the share screen, and therefore the webinar details that keep me a little bit more into a structure so that over the hour we can actually dig deep and connect in with those things that really make a difference and freeing us up and allowing our space as gifted souls, etc., to be able to be in a great presence. So, all right, so I'm just going to share screen here. And of course, that's not where I want to be. There we go. Am I delusional and crazy or cosmically gifted? Am I delusional or crazy and cosmically gifted? So that's the tagline that brought you here today. And perhaps some of the deeper content that's involved in the whole process. But am I delusional and crazy or cosmically gifted? Sort of that underlying thing, only because of society, right? Only because of society, because a natural way of being is pretty powerful. And so today it's about reconnecting to your magical self, and that's going to be very much the process that we move through. So I'm Karen Janelle Davis, and I live a very simple but enhancing life. I have 4 cats, 1 dog, an adult child who's 22, and a teenage daughter who's 16, or adult son who's 22, and a teenage daughter who's 16. And because we're live, I have to mention the cats and the dog, because Puppy believes he's the mayor of our street, and so if anybody passes by without a pass, he might bark. And because the cats are very much a part of our lives, they may come and join us. So if you see a tail or you hear a meow or something like that, just participating in the life that we live here. So you're kind of joining me in my environment and experiencing what I see on a daily basis here. So first of all, are you in the right place? Are you in the right place? This is really, really important. But before we do that, I'm just going to backtrack and just make certain that everybody understands what you have access to. So on your screen, if you haven't been on a webinar before, on your screen, there is a little speech bubble down the bottom, If you click on that, then I'm able to communicate with you. You're able to ask questions and you're able to interact, because interacting is kind of fun, actually. It makes it a little bit more real on the basis that I know that you're sitting in your home or wherever you're watching this from. And of course, I'm sitting in my environment, and we're real people. So it's just divine to actually connect in with you. So just know that the speech bubble down the bottom, if you double click on it, you'll be able to actually communicate with others on the webinar. All right, so are you in the right place? You're probably wondering that yourself right now. So you've had your 10 seconds where you're working out if you're going to stay or not on the very basis of that's where making meaning of the person that's in front of you, and whether you like his or her voice, in this case it's mine, whether you can actually interact with me, and whether there's a resonance, which is always going on at multiple levels. And so I appreciate that and acknowledge that. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate that. Are you in the right place? A healer, a coach, a practitioner, an energy worker, a light worker, an empath, energy aware, deep feeler, sensitive, or explorer. So I'm going to invite you. Are you in the right place? So just find that speech bubble. There we go. Beautiful. Just find that speech bubble and just put a yes, a nice big fat yes or a hello. And yes, you're in the right place. So, all right. So we've got a yes from Joanne. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you for joining us. This is absolutely splendid. And we've got a yes. Oh, we've got a yes from Kim and a yes from Sophie. Okay. And a yes from Sophie so far. So if you're still on here and you haven't found the speech bubble, just do that and feel free to interact, because it's an interactive process. It certainly makes it a lot more fun. Tell me, where in the world are you? Where in the world are you? Oh my gosh. So I'm in Hamilton, New Zealand. And in Hamilton, New Zealand, we have winter at the moment. And it was a frost this morning. So when I left in my car early this morning, it was a bit frosty. And I actually had to remove some of the frost from the windscreen. So we're in winter. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, of course, you're in summer or thereabouts right now. So yes, summer. It would be summer, wouldn't it? Because we're in June. So a real welcome to you. So where are you in the world? All right. So we have Australia. Welcome, welcome, welcome from Sydney, Australia. Welcome from Auckland, New Zealand. Hello there, fellow Kiwi. And welcome from Canada. Oh, how lovely. Thank you for joining us. Absolutely beautiful to have you here too. And another one from Palmerston North in Auckland. Welcome, welcome. And we have Melbourne, Australia. Oh, Melbourne, Australia. Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for being here. It is such a delight. Such a delight to have you here. So I have a big promise. I'm just going to connect in with you and then I'll go back into share again. So, this is pretty exciting to have you here and to be connected with you. And thank you so much. We'll move through this and get to the basic details as fast as we can. All right. So, share screen. There we go. So a little bit of technology fun here. My big promise today is a clear way to reconnect to your magical self, right? A clear way to reconnect to your magical self. And so this is the exploration, right? Part of the journey of life is actually that interaction with who you are and who you are not. And the reconnection to self is the magic key. Together today, we will explore, all right? Together today, we're going to explore the real reason I'm fearful of being seen for who I really am and the blocks of past conditioning. So if that sounds like a go for you, I'm glad you're here. Uncovering, releasing the am I worthy, good enough syndrome. Am I worthy, good enough syndrome? So we're going to go into that one too. And then the age-old healer's plight. Why can I help others and not myself? That's a really significant one. And so we'll get there soon. First of all, do I have permission to make an offer today? Do I have your permission to make an offer at the end of this webinar where I can just offer you a way forward if you're interested? And I am offering a 45-minute strategy session for people who feel a resonance and would like to speak with me further and to really reconnect with what are the true holding blocks that are in place and how easily can those be shifted. So number one, let's kick straight in. Number one, the real reason I'm fearful of being seen for who I really am and the blocks of past conditioning. So in your life, as you're moving around on the planet, do you ever feel that fear of being seen for who you really are? Like you've got to kind of walk around with clothes that are not you, and roles that you feel you have to do, performances and things that are engaging you to have to be someone other than yourself. And when you know that you want to be seen for who you really are, all of a sudden there's a little bit of a fear that comes up within you. This, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Now, you're not the only one, because I totally know this as a past conditioning thing, and it all feeds from past conditioning. It's most absolutely certain that it feeds from past conditioning, either how you've grown up, or how you were dragged up, or how you were brought up, the life conditions of when you were in your childhood years, and actually beforehand, but we'll get to that a little bit more soon. So we're still here. Are we still connected? And are you still participating with me? So just pop in the chat box, the little bubble at the bottom there. In the chat box, sorry, I'm just trying to connect in here, and pop in the chat box who, if that's been an experience for you, or just in introducing yourself. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so moving screen. Okay, so the real reason for being seen for who I am. What I discovered as I explored myself, because I definitely had a real fear for being seen for who I really am. And it was past conditioning. It was fears, and I've mentioned some of this, fears from my past experiences, some childhood beliefs and perceptions of what others had said about me and or other people like me. And then not knowing how was a fascinating exploration of not knowing how to be anything other than what I had learnt to be. And then, of course, the fear of the unknown. This was a really big one for me. The actual fear of not knowing, this deep underlying fear of, if I'm not this and I'm not that, and I'm not this and I'm not that, then who am I and what is that? If I'm not my roles, if I'm not the expectations, if I'm not my identity, if I'm not my beliefs, if I'm not my capabilities, if I'm not my behaviors, then who am I? And I found that personally a little bit derailing for a while. So I don't know if anyone here has had that experience. What keeps you stuck? What keeps you stuck, bound, and fearful? If you were to isolate something that actually keeps you in a place of feeling stuck and bound, great little picture, isn't it? What is it? What is it for you? Do you know? So if you did know, whether you share it on the screen or in the chat section, or whether you actually just keep it to yourself, I don't mind. What do you feel keeps you stuck, bound, or fearful from being who you really are? What is that? Just coming down into your heart, listening to your heart, because your head has a lot to say about this, yeah? And then deepening down into the stomach area, which is often where the identity stuff is, yeah? The boundaries, the disallowing, the self-preservation that keeps us safe, supposedly, often safe from ridicule is a big one, or safe from being seen different. Fear of rejection, absolutely. Fear of rejection is a huge one. Thank you for that contribution. So what else is it that keeps you stuck, bound, fearful in your place? Fascinating question to actually have a look at, because when we can label something, there's a real difference that takes place. Let me introduce you to beautiful Shauna. Now, Shauna was on my last Frequency Factor program. Highly sensitive woman, incredibly sensitive, and had worked, and in her roles in life had worked around as best she could her high sensitivities. So as things unraveled for her during our 6 weeks together, she began to realize, oh my gosh, I'm even more sensitive and even more capable than I ever thought, but now I feel safe in it. But as we were unraveling this, it was past conditioning for Shauna that was exquisitely um, mm, I'm looking for the right word. That was keeping her in a stuck feeling space. She felt like she just wanted to burst out. She felt like it wasn't feeling right for her anymore. These old beliefs. Hers came from a religious background, and these old beliefs were just too tight for her to live within the constraints of anymore. And so she'd been out of this environment for a number of years. But what she was still finding is banging up against herself in those spaces, because deep old beliefs that especially taught between 0 and 7 can make a significant difference in life, and especially how we move around on the planet. So Shauna is a great example of breaking through those old fears of conditioning, the old ones that say things are evil or that they're bad, that that there are restrictions that must not be observed or witnessed, and that it's not okay to be able to see what you can see, or hear what you can hear, or feel what you can feel, and asking a very restraining situation to occur within her very being. So she, oh my gosh, she just started to peel back, and witnessing her heart song coming through, and the lightness that came in her face, and the ease and the joy she felt, was just a magnificent process. So this is, in her own words, what Shauna said. I have a strong feeling now of continuum. I once saw myself and my growth or my spiritual work as being separate, but now I see those things as being an integral part of who I am. The damages sustained in this life are what brings potency, colour, and passion to me, and serves to bring me to this point. I understand that fear of failure and criticism causes me spiritual impotency. I love that. And loss of power. I'm an incredibly strong and resourceful woman who is fearful of no one but herself. That is a beautiful and powerful statement. So thank you, Shauna, for that sharing. She even goes further and she says, even the fear of myself is lessening. So much from tonight's session to unpack, feeling relaxed, tired, and hungry. Thank you so much. Words fail me, which doesn't happen ever. I love Shauna. She's just so beautiful. She's a very beautiful, articulate, and chatty sharing woman. So this was just one of her experiences from a one-on-one session that we had. It was a one-on-one session that she had, and that's her sharing from part of the program. So how's this going so far? Is this useful for you? Are you finding that you're getting something out of this already? I hope you are. I truly hope you are. Right, if I may, I'm just going to have a glass of water. Keep my brain lubricated in my mouth. Relaxed, because I tend to juice up when I'm speaking about things that really matter for people deeply, and I know they do, and I know that the release inside, out of rejection, out of the fear, out of the bounds, out of the stuckness, is just such a divine way of being. In fact, it's so dramatic. We wonder how we used to walk around in those constraints. So, number 2, uncovering and releasing the am I worthy, good enough syndrome. Wow, this is a big human condition one. Am I worthy? Am I good enough? This underlying quiet, deep, piercing throb that seems to colour every situation and filter all of our experiences. And even as women, as men, as adults, as we're moving around on the planet, if we haven't cleared these am I worthy, am I good enough syndrome aspects of this human conditioning, what we find is we're always double questioning ourselves. We're always needing others to confirm that we're okay. We deeply desire to know that we matter. And am I worthy and am I good enough can be patterned in as a young child, right from 0 to 7. Can even happen in the womb, this one. Especially if mum, the carrying mum, has these beliefs herself, or the DNA level, right across time, back through history. A lot of the work I do actually connects in with the DNA of the cellular memory from times gone by. And this one's a deep human conditioning one, and breaking through this, releasing these, and knowing that you're worthy, and knowing that you're good enough, and actually having the cells in your body know and respond to this is such an exquisite way of being. Life changes. It's like the glasses, the filters, the perceptions shift really dramatically, and there's far less questioning. There's far more interaction within self, because there's a sturdiness that becomes clean and clear, and a readiness to participate in life at a far deeper level. Yeah, this is just a powerful and potent process, is the cleansing and clearing and removing of the blocks, the deep conditioning, the past fears, the childhood experiences of even as simple as at the age of between 2 and 4, no, that's not good enough. The child doesn't hear that's not good enough, they hear I'm not good enough. Or a worthy thing, not being invited to a birthday party. If a child doesn't have a great filtering system that is in massive support, they could make this mean I'm not good enough to go to that birthday party. Now, these are simple examples, but there's some very real situations that I've discovered in working with individuals and groups in regards to this, that when they're released from the imbued memories of the cells, and the cells are cleared of this memory, and a deep inner teaching of the cells of I am worthy, I do matter, I am loved, I'm loved unconditionally, and I'm good enough. When those are in place, there's a lightness. There's a real lightness where the heart just seems to open without having to hide, without having to prove yourself to another person. How's that feeling? How is that feeling for you, listening to that? Shaming, oh my gosh, what a great contribution. Shaming's a good one too. Shaming's a very powerful one. In fact, probably the last 6 months, more than ever before, this has been one that's been showing up a lot, is this shaming capacity. People feel shame for whatever reason. When the shame's cleared from deep memories along the timeline, there's a sense that connects and opens up like a flower blooming, because a flower doesn't need to know that it matters, it just does. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And this is the invite here in working with me. And the frequency factor is to be the bloom, and to be in the space of who you really are, what you're here to do. What you're here to do. Jessica Newton, oh my gosh, this is another woman on the most recent frequency factor program that I ran. Jessica's an amazing woman. She has a Instagram and a Facebook page called Earth Woman. Very, very skilled, beautiful goddess of a woman, connected with herbs, connected very deeply. She has high intuitive skills, and she has 3 boys, I think it is. Yeah, 3 boys. And she's been going through her own process of coming back into herself over a number of years. And the frequency factor just really gave her that uplift and maximum support that lifted her to her next level. I've seen her bloom so much over the process. So that's beautiful, Jessica. And this is what she says. So I'm going to read it word for word, because her words are just so powerful. So she was talking about the past 4. So this was asked, the frequency factor is 6 weeks, but she was asked at 4 weeks to give me an indication of how she was going on the program. So the past 4 weeks in the frequency factor have been incredibly healing on so many levels, not only for me, but for my family and for those around me. And the fact that I'm on this journey with a group of beautiful, gifted women. Yes, in this case, it was all women on the program. A group of beautiful, gifted women where it is safe to bare my soul is truly healing in itself. Never in my life have I had such love, respect, and deep gratitude for women and all their strength, grace, and wisdom. I really feel as though I have leveled up in my spiritual development and have gained so much clarity, confidence, and trust in myself and in my intuitive abilities. I have cleared and healed so many deeply held beliefs, programs, and past hurts, and I can feel that I'm somehow moving differently through life. I finally learnt to trust the process and flow with it, even though the uncomfortableness, and there most definitely is some uncomfortableness, but it's all a part of a healing journey. And her reference is very true there, because as we're moving out of a current known into a space of a new way of being, there's a point where you decide. And at this point, we can fall into the deeply held human emotions of suffering or pain, or we can burst through into a new way of being. On the program, I always say, look, pain and suffering is only optional. It will not be provided on the program. And I say that as a joke, but there's a deep meaning in there. We can either continue to rehash old patterns, or we can actually move through and into the energy flows in different ways. And once you learn this ability, change and transformation and the alchemy of change happens like this. My deep promise, my deep, deep, deep promise. And I've worked with a lot of people and a lot of groups over my years. And that's a fundamental. Okay. And then Jessica carries on to say, I am able to see everyday situations for what they really are and not get so stressed and overwhelmed. I have such a deeper knowing and understanding of all things, and am going through life with so much more ease. I have shed so much fear already. I don't want to or need to hide anymore. I feel safe, accepted, and loved. I can only imagine the magic that is to come in the next 4 weeks, and would recommend the Frequency Factor to anyone interested in spiritual development. There is something for everyone, and I am so grateful to Karen for creating this space. And I'm really grateful to Jessica for sharing so deeply, because her words summarize in such a deep way what I could only begin to try to articulate. So yeah, I really appreciate her. Okay. So moving along, so you're still with me. I really appreciate you for being here. I'm going to just have another mouthful of water. Mm, mm. Okay, number 3. We're moving perfectly through this. So number 3, the age-old healer's plight. Why can I help myself? Sorry, why can I help others and not myself? There has to be a giggle inside of this, right? Why can I help others and not myself? This is a fascinating experience of somebody who seems to just be able to show up for other people over and over and over again. And normally they're deep sensitives, they're healers, they're light workers, nurturers, kind-hearted souls who just seem to be over and over and over and over again in situations where people are sharing deeply with them, and the other person is receiving such a tremendous gift of being listened to by a healer. And this can happen just naturally over and over and over again. And yet it can be this deep, deep inner call within the healer themselves, or within the light worker themselves, or within this gifted, nurturing being that says, what about me? What about me? And I know this one because that was a deep inner call for me. As I was coaching, I mean, I had a lot of things under my belt, and I was delivering some pretty powerful results over and over again. And yet there was this deep inner call for me saying, what about me? When can someone show up for me? When can somebody be there for me? When can somebody hold this space for me? When can somebody expand my grid lines? When can somebody do what I can do. Hmm. Yeah, that's a deep sharing for me, because it was like that for years until I really began to deeply search at a deeper level and to understand the full process of the alchemy of change. And then my very being and my presence of being with other people as a coach, as a healer, as a psychic changed. It changed because I understood the alchemy of change. I understood what I teach in the frequency factor, which is now what I teach, is the formula. Align, activate, accelerate, and actualize. And what goes on inside of that. Because they're very simple formula with a very rich content, a very rich understanding of the process of change and transformation, and where you are in the process and how to be within that process at such a deep level that change and transformation happens within you and the other person at the same time, and there's a sense of feeling held. So yeah, pretty significant and lovely. See, juicing up, juicing up. Thank you. That is so you. Yes, yes, I can understand that. All right, let me introduce you to Stacey. Stacey's an artist and a very dear friend of mine. We have made oracle cards together. She paints and I channel. And Stacey and I have been on a journey for years together in our expansion and growth, And she joined me on the frequency factor too, because her gifts are different than mine, and so we're just always upping our levels. And so I have a deep respect for what Stacey has shared here, because she already came from a very rich knowing and background in spirit and different realms, working in different realms, and a real fearlessness. So Stacey didn't have fear, if you like. But she did always, as I am always wanting to, and I'm sure you're always the same, wanting to extend that capacity to be able to show up in the world in a rich way, in a rich tapestry that offers, just through the level of connection, a light, a real light that offers other people and other beings this process. So let me share Stacey's very succinct expressions. Align effortlessly, she says. The biggest realization for me is that I hold the space for wherever I am. In both work and relationship, I am more powerful than I realized and can absolutely affect all situations. I have played with this and it works to my benefit every time. Conversely, when I am down, that works to my own detriment. She points to something very powerful here. This is an absolute. Now I just need to remember this and practice this daily. From Stacey. So Stacey points here, she points towards some of the other processes that we go through during the frequency factor, is a real heavy understanding of a healthy, robust daily practice where we learn and understand within our very being how to be the space that holds, because we're the creator. We create our life. And as Stacey points here, and we do that to our own detriment or to our own benefit. And we are constantly, you are already creating your life. You are already the power that is, the powerful creator. You're already doing it. And you'll know within yourself, sometimes you just hit that sweet spot and the flow is just elegant, exquisite. And other times you seem to be trying and trying and trying and trying and trying, and it's just not working. There's an orientation that can be discovered, and we do go through it in the frequency factor, that can make this a fast moving understanding, so that more and more and more, instead of just the occasional hit on that sweet spot and that inner flow, it's happening over and over and over again. So the joy here is the understanding that it does exist, and you know in your heart that it does. I mean, you know this. That's why you're here. That's why you're connecting now, because you're ready. You're in that space of readiness to have that sweet spot, that inner flow, that centered way of being, that alignment in place far more often, so that you can actually be the gift of purpose that you are here to do. Yeah, so that you can be the gift of purpose that you are here to do. All right, so you're still with me? Let me just jump off here for a moment. And there we go, coming into here. So I hope that you're finding this useful. So this marks about the spot in the webinar where we've gone through the 3 points that we covered at the beginning, and we've explored the old conditioning factors. We've explored the things normally that I discover, certainly discovered in myself, and discovered with other people, both through one-on-one work and through group work. There's a point here that I will correlate that is really vital. There's a group synergy that plays out within this program that I was told would occur, but I was still blown away. I was mind blown during the actual process itself, because what I was told and what I've witnessed to occur is, as each person, as each individual commits to being a part of the synergy of the frequency factor, there's an energetic vibration that connects them, that instantly activates. And every other person on the program, so we normally have about 12, every other person on the program is also a major role player in this whole group synergy. And so everybody is representing a part of us. So in a way, we're doing our work and we're doing work for the group. And every other individual on the program is doing their work and doing work for the group. So what we have is a major lift because of the group synergy. And it's potent and it's powerful. And the people who connect in the group gain this like-minded soul connection of a deep, I want to say sisterhood, but a deep connection, because of how far and how fast they shift and move. And because we spend a lot of time together. We do spend a lot of time together, and I'm very precious about where I spend my time and who I spend my time with. So a part of the Frequency Factor program is I spend time with these people, and I love it. I mean, my heart sings knowing when we've got a webinar, a group call coming up, or a group clinic, or a one-on-one, because I'm living in my purpose, and I know that I'm a part of helping other people live in their purpose. So I'm very careful about who I have come on the program. We want like-minded souls who resonate and who are ready, people who want that next level and wherever they're at, and that they're willing, even if fearful, even if resistant, even if kind of fighting and screaming in a little way, but they're willing to participate at a deep level that takes us to high vibrational frequencies. And we have an open platform for discussion. So it's okay to talk about, I had this experience with, I think it might have been another alien, or I think I saw a past life, or It's open discussion, gloves off conversation, because this is a part of the process. This is a part of what the frequency factor holds. So yeah, very, very delicious, according to me. All right, so I asked permission early on if I could present the frequency factor at this end of the journey. So if you'll just stay with me till the end of the call, I have a meditation that is going to be a freebie, and also the opportunity for a 45-minute strategy session with me. No obligation. During that strategy call, we will be going through where you're at, what's happening, what are the barriers, what are the boundaries, what are the stuckness, what does that look like, how have you been doing this in life? And we explore, and a lot of people get a tremendous release just through going through the process. All right, so it is only for people who go through this webinar process and that access it or have applied to be on the Frequency Factor program, because I do have one other way through the Frequency Factor program, and that's through actually applying. All right. So the offer for the Frequency Factor is very simple. It's a program that has only 12 places. You need to want to be mentored and coached, willing to invest in yourself, desire your absolute next deep level, or desire your next level, and that you're willing and prepared to break through. When I say that, I mean, I can help anybody really, but with this one, because there's a group synergy, we're working together, all you need is that spark of hope that it's possible, because that we can work with, right? That we can work with. And the process itself is 6 weeks. We have group calls and we have group clinics, and then there are some one-on-ones, which are, people say, are very, very helpful, because it's very specific to you, your past lives, if required. Whatever the factor is that you desire the most release with, that will shift and make the deepest shift. And I'm showing psychically how to work through this process. Also working through this will open up your gifts more. So that's kind of a cool thing, right? As layer by layer by layer of boundaries, stuckness, barriers, blocks are cleansed, cleared, and removed, what happens is your inner sight, your inner hearing, your inner knowings, your inner connection deepens so much. And it has a sturdiness that feels very safe. Has a sturdiness that feels very, very safe. So some of the bonuses from there. Okay. So a strategy session. Let me just jump through and capture the link where you can book this with me. I would love for everybody who's on this current call, if you feel that you would like to have a strategy session with me and connect in, just click on the link in the chat box. I've just sent it there. I will send an email that follows up this webinar with the link on it too, just to help you if you missed it. But click on that link and book the first available appointment that you can find, and we will have our 45-minute strategy session together. And my heart, I love it. I love connecting, and it would be awesome. We do this, we can do this by Skype, webinar, Zoom, or by phone. I can work either way like that. And so we can do it for the best way for you. So book your strategy session, and it's 45 minutes, and it is a free one with a value of $220. So enjoy that. All right. So great value that comes from this, I promise you. Stop share. Oh, I was sharing my screen because that was really helpful, wasn't it? So here we go. And then, of course, what I'm finding now is the meditation. I'll just grab that meditation for you, just a second. Sorry, technology's a bit of fun for a moment. Thank you for being patient, because here comes your meditation. Okay, here we go. There you guys are. All right, and here is the meditation. So take that, use that, listen to that, enjoy that. Oh, it gets a little bit full there. I'll just go meditation. All right, so here's the meditation. Separate. So there's the gift from me for you joining today. We only took 45 minutes to complete this call so far. Are there any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Because if you do, I can answer them, perhaps. Maybe I can. If I'm able to, I certainly will. So are there any questions for anybody who's on the call? If there are, please type it into the chat box, because I would love to participate with you. If there's not, if this is meeting your needs right now, then I can fully acknowledge you. Now, I'm contactable on Facebook. under Karen Janelle Davis, which is my personal profile, also under the Butterfly Clinic. And the Butterfly Lady and Friends is a group that you can connect with me to. You'll find it easy enough to under karenjanelledavis.com to find my webinar. What is it called? Website. That was cool, eh? So find my website and feel free to contact me through there. But this session, for the 45-minute session, book your space, book your place, and I will look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so somebody's driving to work and can't ask the question. So yeah, sure, connect in with me. You probably have my email address if you've made it on here. And thank you, Linda or John, I'm not sure who that is. So thank you for being here. My love and complete and absolute blessings to your time that you